What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope all you had a great day today. Getting into this episode of GH. So apparently I was wrong about Brando. I can eat humble pie. I can eat crow when I have to. So my suspicions were incorrect. He's a stand-up guy. Apparently. So we got a flashback of the conversation that Brando had with Cyrus. Cyrus wanted Brando to be his driver, and he told him basically, there's room for growth, to climb up the ranks. And Brando turned him down, and, he said he's good where he's at. So while they were talking, Cyrus had one of his guys sneak into the shop and tamper with Jason's bike. The only thing that baffled me was, why did Brando choose to not tell Sonny or Jason about his conversation with Cyrus? Why did he think that it wasn't important to tell them? That's what I don't understand. I just, for the life of me, I just don't get why he kept silent on that. That's what was throwing me off. Or maybe the writers did that on purpose to kind of throw the fans off, maybe, to give it a red herring. Maybe. Because that just kind of baffled me. I was like, why would you not tell them about it? Even though it didn't amount to anything, had you would have told them that Cyrus was there, you know what I mean? Because Jason, even though Sam is hell-bent on believing that Brando had something to do with it, Jason never believed it. Because Jason, for the most part, he knows how to read people. So he can tell when you up to something and when you're not. He can pretty much feel it. He gets a vibe from you. Jason didn't get a bad vibe from Brando. Sam, on the other hand, claims, the second she met him, she felt, he was no good or whatever. Well, obviously, you don't know how to read people. Sam, clearly you do not know how to read people if you could get a bad vibe off somebody. I mean, if Jason gets a good vibe off of them, 9 times out of 10 or maybe 10 times out of 10, there really are good people. You know what I mean? But if you get a bad vibe, obviously your radar is off. I mean, mine wasn't really off when it came to Brando. I was suspicious of him because I'm suspicious of all new people. Anybody new that comes on the show, I think they're up to something until I see different. Because most of the people that come in the show always have a damn agenda. So anyway, Cyrus sent one of his men to go and talk with Brando, telling them, I could get the cops off your back. Keep trying to entice him to come to their side. And Brando was like, no good. He was like, no, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I'm good. I don't need your help. I don't need Cyrus's help. So Spinelli and Jason come up with a plan to figure out if Brando was working for Cyrus or not by causing a diversion to get Brando out of the shop so Jason could plant a camera in there to keep an eye out on things and see what's going on. So it worked. Spinelli came up with a story about how his car was down the block. It wouldn't start, so Brando came and checked out the car while Jason was installing the camera. So they got the camera installed. They were watching Brando for a while. And during that time, Spinelli was basically telling Jason about Maxie being pregnant by Peter. And Jason said that shit. He was like, Maxie right now is seeing what she wants to see. I concur. Maxie is seeing exactly what she wants to see. But when the truth does come out about Peter, she's going to be devastated. So anyway, Sam rushes over there. And they're watching Brando on the camera. And these 2 dudes come up in there and basically tell him, well, you were stupid to turn Cyrus down. So they grab Brando and start beating the shit out of him. And Jason, Spinelli, and Sam was like, all right, let's go. We about to go back to the shop. So they run back to the shop or whatever to go help him. I was like, well, I guess I was wrong about Brando. Guess he's not Team Cyrus after all, like I thought. Well, good for him. So anyway, moving on from that. Alexis, understandably so, is going to be moving in with Jason and Sam and the kids for a little while. She's going to be staying with them for a while. And I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think she should be at that house after what happened with Neil there. I don't think that's a good place for her to be. So I think it was a good idea to have her go stay with Sam and Jason for a while. So, of course, you know, Sam wanted to keep talking to her about Neil. And understandably, Alexis did not want to talk about it. And I get it. You know, she's obviously, like, look like she's about to break down and cry. So, clearly, she just wants to kind of, you know, distract herself from the Neil situation. So, she was asking Sam about how did she get a new parole officer. So, Sam was telling her about how she had to give up, you know, her kids' proxies for EOQ, their shares, their proxy to Valentine in order to get a new PO. Sam, of course, is claiming, oh, I didn't know that he was going to try to make a play for EOQ. Sam, shut up. Yes, you did know that. How could you not know that? What else would Valentine want those shares for? Why would he want proxies? Why would he want the shares? I think Sam is just saying this just to try to ease her guilt. That's exactly what she's doing, because you're not stupid. What the hell would Valentine Cassadine want with EOQ stocks other than to take over the company? Come on now, think. Sam, you're not dumb. You're not that dumb. So think. Like, she's just trying to ease her own damn guilt about it. You knew what that man was going to do, but you were desperate. You wanted to be around Jason, so you took the damn deal. Now you're coming up with some BS ass story just to ease the guilt that you have about what you did. Too bad. You did it. It's done. It's over. Move on. Surprisingly, Alexis really did take it kind of well, because, and you know, normally Alexis would have gotten on her ass about some stuff like that. But with everything Alexis is going through right now, Alexis did not have the strength to just, you know, chastise Sam for what she did. At the end of the day, she told Sam, you got to live your life. You're grown. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do this, that, and the third. So it is what it is. What's done is done. Alexis was just, I felt super bad for her. I really did. You know, and Alexis came to the realization that she had a lot of regrets too, because she feels stupid. Well, she feels bad because she didn't tell Neil how she felt early on. She felt bad for the games that they played and the time that they wasted. You know, when they could have just been together and enjoyed the moments that they had while they had them. And she regrets that. And that's a life lesson to everybody. It's a life lesson to us all. You know, grab that time while we still have it, because that's the one thing we don't have a whole lot of, and that's time. You can have a lot of money, you can have a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes, a lot of food. What you don't have a lot of is time. Time is one of the most precious commodities that we have, and it's like you just can't waste it. You know what I mean? And you got so many people in this world, myself included, that just waste time on nonsense when we could have been doing something else that's more productive, more beneficial to our life. And we wasted that time. And that's just something that you can never get back. We could always get food. We could always get clothes. We could always get money. We could always do those things. You know, new phones, new computers, new whatever we need. But the one thing we can never have back, and that's time. You know, so grab that time. You know what I mean? The time that you have, grab it. Seize the moment. You know, live in the moment. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past. Worry about the here and now. So Alexis got a text from the medical examiner letting her know that she got the results of Neil's autopsy. And, you know, of course, Sam wanted to go with her, but Alexis just snapped at her and was like, no, I'm going to go by myself. Like, she just wants to be alone to do this. And Sam wanted to call Christina and Molly, you know, one of them or both of them to go with her. And Alexis was like, no, I just want to do this by myself. And I can understand why Sam wanted somebody to be there for her as not only a support system, but we all know that Alexis is a recovering alcoholic right now. So it's only but so much Alexis can take before she ends up falling off the wagon again. Because we all know recently she did fall off. And I think Sam don't want to see that happen again. So I think that's why Sam really wanted to go, or she wanted Christina and Molly to go. So that way they could be there for her, so that way she don't fall off the wagon again. So I could totally understand. Because when Alexis got to the hospital, she bumped into Finn and told him about Neil's death. And Finn just looked surprised, and I don't blame him. I mean, it's like one minute you're here, the next minute you're not. So anyway, moving on from that, Anna. Will the real Anna Devane please stand up? So apparently the Anna that we've been looking at for the last few months since she got back has been the real Anna Devane. So the person on the other end of the phone call was really Alex. So Alex come calling Anna, talking about she's in Berlin. She just want to, she needs Anna's help getting back home so that way she could live a good life or whatever, put all this crap that she's done behind her. She brought up Maxie's pregnancy. So when Anna hung up the phone, Finn was wondering what that was all about. So she basically told Finn, and Finn was wondering what she gonna do. She was like, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out there to Berlin to go see Alex? Anna basically said, yeah, I'm going. And Finn was pissed off. Finn was not happy about that in the slightest. In the least, he was not happy about that. And I have to say I can't blame Finn. Because if you recall, when Anna and Finn got engaged, she literally left town right after they got engaged to go chase after Alex. She was gone for months. I think she was gone for like 6 months. And finally came back home. And even during the time her and Finn were, during the time she was gone, her and Finn barely talked during that time. Like, they would talk here and there, but that's only when he could catch her. Here y'all are planning y'all wedding finally. And you're talking about up and leaving again for Berlin, and you still can't give a return date on how long you're going to be gone. So I don't blame Finn for being frustrated and pissed off. Like, you were gone for 6 months, like 6 to 7 months or whatever, but you were gone for a really long time, and now that you're finally back, y'all finally are planning the wedding, and in the middle of planning a wedding, you're talking about leaving the country again for an unknown amount of time. So Finn was just not here for it. Finn was just not here for it. He was like, well, be sure to say, goodbye to Violet before you leave, because I'm sure she'd like to say bye to you. I really felt bad for Finn, because Finn is ready to start that next chapter of his life. He wants to be settled. He wants to hurry up and get married. They wasted enough time. Like I just talked about time. They wasted enough time being engaged when they should be starting that next chapter, which is marriage. You know what I'm saying? They've had one of the longest engagements in soap history. Like, damn, when are you going to tie the knot? Now y'all sitting here planning the wedding, you talking about leaving again? I would have been pissed too. I'm surprised Finn didn't tell her that the wedding was off at this point. Because that's what I would have said. It's either me or this Alex business. What you want to do? I understand Anna wants answers or whatever. She want to figure some things out. But, I mean, come on now. What's more important to you? Playing Alex's game or moving on with your life and living a good one? Like, what's more important? I would take option B if I was her, instead of playing this stupid ass game with Alex. That's just my 2 cents. So anyway, moving on from that. So Maxie and Peter are at the hospital checking on their baby or whatever. They see a heartbeat and all that, and Peter's all giddy about it. Normally I would say that was a beautiful scene, but in this case I can't say that. I cannot say it was a beautiful scene because it just like creeped me the hell out. Like, Maxie, you're in danger, girl. You're in danger. Maxie, open your eyes, Maxie. See the devil himself in front of you. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, if people in town are basically telling you that your baby father... And it was so funny because she referred to Peter, to the doctor, as her baby's father. She didn't even say, this is my boyfriend. She said, my baby's father. I said, okay, we getting a little ratchet. I said, all right now. I thought she would have just said that was her boyfriend / the father of the child. She said, nope, my baby's daddy. I said, okay, all right. So yeah, they got a good prognosis about the baby and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. And she was basically telling him, Robert, he's gonna, come around. No, he won't. Maxie, Robert ain't coming around because Robert know the tea. He know the truth. He's never gonna come around. So they ended up going to see Anna, showing her the sonogram and stuff. Anna wasn't too happy. She was happy, but she was more so worried about the whole Alex situation and the fact that Alex could be Peter's mother. And that's what she's worried about. Because she doesn't want Alex to show back up in town and destroy Peter's life. Well, Peter's doing a good job of destroying his own damn life. So that's on him. So anyway, moving on from that. Robert and Olivia are on a plane, and you know, Olivia's still upset over the Ned situation. In my opinion, Olivia has nothing to be upset about. You did nothing wrong. Ned is the one being an ass, because Olivia has been very supportive of him in Brooklyn, but it's only but so much she can do. At the end of the day, Ned needs to give his daughter her space, and when she's ready to talk, then go talk. Other than that, you just need to kind of fall back a little bit, you know. And Olivia, in my opinion, she did nothing wrong. She did all that she could for the moment, and now she needs to go tend to her own child, and I don't blame her. So Robert is going to the memorial of Holly, and Olivia is going to go with him. I definitely see chemistry between Olivia and Robert. I would not be surprised if they got it on and did the bump, bump, bump. I just would not be surprised. Especially with the way Robert was kind of looking at her. He was looking at her like, if you wasn't married, I'd tap that. That's how he was looking at her. With them little bedroom eyes. I said, okay, Robert. Robert ain't too old for the get down, I see. Robert said, shit, I might be a little, snow on the top, but it's still fire in the furnace, I guess. I said, all right. Robert said, we about to bump, bump, bump. I could definitely see them messing around. I could totally see it. Definitely. I wouldn't be mad at it either, honestly. Even though I know that's not really the type of woman Olivia is, I could see them doing the do. I can see it. So anyway, moving on from that. What else happened? Am I forgetting something? So I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So Cyrus is at Turning Woods, volunteering his time for the elderly. And Sonny sees him, and Sonny was like, what the hell are you doing up in here? So Sonny feels like Cyrus basically broke the truce by turning up at Turning Woods, because Cyrus knows that Mike stays there. So Sonny was like, yeah, don't play with me. Sonny was just not in the mood for his shenanigans. And that's when Brick showed up. And Brick knows all about Cyrus. And surprisingly, and it was funny because Cyrus obviously don't know who Brick is, but Brick knows who the hell Cyrus is, and he knows plenty about Cyrus. And you could tell Cyrus was kind of caught off guard by that, because he wasn't expecting it. But like Cyrus tried to tell his little right-hand man, he was like, oh, I can handle that. Cyrus, shut your ass. You can't handle nothing. Shut up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cyrus is very dangerous. He really is. But, you know, Sonny ain't no pushover either. So you might want to come up with a better plan. And Cyrus, I could tell he knows that getting rid of Jason is not going to be that easy. Obviously, he could tell it's not going to be so simple like he thought it would be. So anyway, it's always good to see Brick. It is. Brick is a dope character. He just be having that, like, he could be fun one second but be dead ass serious the next, and that's what I like about Brick. So anyway, Sonny shows up at the hospital to talk to Deanna, one of the nurses, because he was like, oh, I need to see Monica or whatever. And Deanna dropped a bombshell on Sonny. She was like, Cyrus fired Monica and Bobby. He cleared out both their offices. I said, oh, this bitch. Because remember when Cyrus and Sonny were at Turner Woods, and Cyrus was like, oh, you know, changes are basically happening at the hospital starting at the top. When he said that, my first thought went, I know he ain't about to fire Monica. And sure enough, when Sonny got to the hospital, Bobby and Monica were fired. I said, this punk biatch done fired them. Ugh. Well, I mean, it shouldn't be shocking to Monica, because Monica done been out of that job in and out for years. So it shouldn't be that shocking. But I knew he was going to do some shit like that. I knew he was going to do it. I knew it. I had a feeling he was going to end up trying to fire Monica at one point. Like, Cyrus is just a ugh. He a dirty little biatch. But he is somewhat entertaining, though. I'd give him that much. But damn, you had to fire the Queen Bee? You did not have to fire the Queen Bee. But anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. I hope you all enjoy. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought. I will see y'all all later. Have a good night. Peace.